had to sit and listen to those awful engines roar. You ain't gonna jump no more.
Who are the Triple Nickles? Do you know who they are and what they did? In the history of World War II, little is known about them because they embarked on a top-secret mission that the public never heard about. Their story is one of courage, perseverance, and determination that started to break the color barrier among soldiers in the armed forces. And this is their story.
I was in the first all-colored parachute unit. In December of 1943, the Army activated a colored parachute unit, and it was designated the 555 Parachute Infantry Company. And that was in Fort Benning, Georgia, the Triple Nickel.
What was it like to be a young black man enlisted in the armed forces in the days before World War II? Well, it certainly was not like how it is now. In those days, it was still segregated. At the parachute school in Fort Benning, Georgia, white soldiers were trained to become paratroopers, and black soldiers were considered to be servants. They were drivers, guards, and were ordered to do menial jobs like cooking and serving the white men in the mess halls. They couldn't use the same water fountains, toilets, or even enter the post-exchange area. The German and Italian prisoners of war were higher in social acceptability than the colored soldiers in uniform. In the 1940s, social injustices among black soldiers were so prevalent, and their participation in the war was simply ignored. In short, they were completely left out of history.
Here I am here.
When Walter Morris joined the Army in 1941, he knew the Army was segregated, but the Army didn't know Walter Morris.
They had two armies. The white soldiers were the combat troops. The colored soldiers were the servants.
When you say that, and it's the words that you're using, the colored soldiers, servants, it's so hard for people these days, and I suspect for many of the young troops today, to really understand.
They look at me and shake their heads because they couldn't believe that existed, you know. But we were servants. We were not soldiers. And
how did you guys feel about that?
Well, most of us had the inferiority complex.
Being treated like a slave takes a toll on one's self-esteem. When segregation still ruled the U.S. military, a group of 17 brave, young black soldiers from Fort Benning, Georgia, endured prejudice and abuse from white soldiers, but they conquered adversity on their own terms. To overcome boredom and increase morale, Mr. Walter Morris and his fellow black soldiers started a movement that was unheard of. They began doing exercises at night and learned among themselves the skill to become a paratrooper. They ran and trained when the white students were done for the day. The effect that this had on them was priceless. Commanding General Gaither witnessed them exercising and was impressed, so he asked First Sergeant Morris and his men to become the test platoon of the first all-African-American paratrooper unit, and thus the Triple Nickles was born. On December 1943, the Army activated the 555 Parachute Infantry Unit, which was composed of all black enlisted men qualified to jump out of C-47 aircrafts. Sergeant Morris and 16 men received their paratrooper wing pins at a ceremony validating their significant role in the history of the United States Army.
The morale was so low that I took it upon myself to put into operation a scheme to raise the morale of the men. And I did that because we were billeted next to the calisthenic field. And every day the white students would go through their training, push-up, jumping off of a 5-foot platform, coming out of a mock-up fuselage of a C-47 plane. That was a plane that the parachute troops jumped from. So we watched them day in, day out, and we knew the routine. So it occurred to me that if I could get my men to go through the same calisthenics as the whites, it might inspire them. So one day at 4 o'clock, the white students had left the field. I gathered all of our men with the help of the NCOs, and we double-timed the men to the field, which is just next door to where we were. An amazing thing happened, because after a week or two of that type of regiment, I could notice a distinct improvement in their appearance, the servicemen, my men's appearance. Their clothes were pressed. When you talk to them, they looked you straight in the eye, and they began to act like soldiers rather than servants. And that was very heartwarming to me. So then, now I am a first sergeant, and in December of 1943, orders came down from the Adjutant General of Washington, D.C., activating a 555 parachute company, and Walter Morris, first sergeant of that company. And William Johnson, who was a white officer at the time, the commanding officer, Captain Johnson was his name. His name and my name were on that December order, activating the 555.
The name Triple Nickles came from the 5-cent nickel illustrating the buffalo, which serves as a symbol of the 92nd Infantry Division, one of 2 all-black units in World War II. The 92nd had taken its symbol from the Buffalo Soldiers, the black cavalry divisions in the 1800s. The unusual spelling, N-I-C-K-L-E instead of N-I-C-K-E-L, was used to make the word visually similar to the word triple.
The triple nickel proved to themselves and to the Army that black soldiers could do the same as white soldiers, no better but no worse. And so it was an awakening for them and for us that we could live together and soldier together, and that was a big, big thing.
Although the 555 unit was fully trained as combat paratroopers, there was a setback. Commanding officers didn't want to integrate the colored soldiers with the white soldiers in the front line because it would have created more problems. So the Army sent them on a top-secret mission called Operation Firefly. What exactly was Operation Firefly? Well, during World War II, the Japanese sent incendiary balloon bombs that reached the American West Coast and set ablaze whole forests. This mission was kept a secret from the public because if the Japanese found out exactly how effective their attacks were, they would have sent more of this plague. The Triple Nickles were sent to disable the bombs and to control and extinguish the fires using only axes and shovels. They came to be known as the world's first smoke jumpers. Their skills and techniques became so successful that they are still being used in today's civilian and military firefighting missions. This also paved the way for Major General James Gavin to recommend integration of the 555 unit into the prestigious 82nd Airborne Division in 1947. The Triple Nickles were actually some of the first selected black soldiers to work and train with white soldiers. This happened a year before President Truman even signed the official document desegregating the armed forces on July 26, 1948. It still took time after the integration of the Army for America to move towards equality and the civil rights movement. But Mr. Morris and his fellow Triple Nickles are happy that we are moving towards a colorless society. America has come a long way since World War II in breaking the color barrier. It will be noted that the Triple Nickles somehow contributed in desegregation because of the love of their country.
And it was a wonderful experience, and it just shows you that this is a wonderful country, and that we're going to succeed in this racial stigma, and we're going to make this again the most powerful country and the most beautiful country in the world. And God bless you, and God bless America. And thank you.
I am a soldier and I'm marching on.